Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cast Carbon, and this will be part 11 of the Metal Master Chief armor build. Today, we will be working further down the suit, and I will be working on the thigh. The pattern for the thigh is fairly basic. This Pepakura model is going to be my template as usual, and I've drawn lines on here to differentiate certain details and parts that are not present on the basic model. But this one, compared to the last one, and I think the one before that and the one before that, we're finally at a part that's kind of simple, and I believe I should be able to knock this out fairly quickly. So of course, usually my next step is to take the Pepakura model and to break it down into usable flat patterns. So I think I'm going to just kind of do that off screen, off camera, because I don't know, I don't think it's too interesting to watch me cut the paper, but I'll go ahead and describe what I'm planning to break this down into. So kind of similar to the bracer, there's this central panel thingy right here, like on the outside of the thigh, you know? So we've got this with some details and these little raised bumpies that are going to be here. On either side of that panel, there's another sort of plate, front and back. Then there's sort of the main thigh piece, and then there's the ring that goes around the knee area, which has the two cutouts at the front. We're at the part of the year where it's starting to get cooler out. Today it's actually kind of rainy at the time of recording this intro, but we're getting cooler weather, which means your boy can go to the shop more often and not die of heat exhaustion. So hopefully I'll be able to get further ahead on the stuff I'm working on, because I'll be honest, the heat and me getting sick here and there has been really kicking my butt and slowing me down. But hopefully we're going to do better going on into the fall and winter months. Enough talking and lollygagging. Let's get to the shop and get to making the next piece of the armor. We're back here in the shop, and we're gonna make some cool stuff, because that is what we do. But as you can see, I have a bit of a unique challenge I'm dealing with today. There is a project being worked on, and it's very big, and so my table usage is gonna be a bit on the limited side, but that's fine. We will work around this. But on my side of things, I have purchased 2 more sheets of steel. I have my pattern all broke down, so that's good. We have the tripod, that's great. I've got my PPE so I won't get, sparks all coating me. And way over there in the distance is that really nice speaker I like to use so I can listen to stuff and listen to music on my iPad while I'm working, because the sound of grinders is not entertaining. I'm gonna start marking everything up and get the plasma going and cut stuff out, and depending on how things go today, I may get to welding, I may not, I don't know. So real quick, I wanted to point out another little trick I'm going to use because I'm about to cut this thing up, this pattern up. What I'm going to do is cut out sort of this triangle-y bit and this triangle-y bit, so that way this main centerpiece can sit flat. But in order to know, hey, which pieces go back where, I've put these little hash marks, so that way I know, okay, 4 hash marks, 1 hash mark. This piece matches up with this side. And then on the other side, I got 2 and 3. So I know this little triangle-y bit will go here. You know, just a simple little trick, but it's still useful. Putting registration marks or numbers or whatever. It's good for what I'm doing right here, but that trick can be applied to, you know, anything where you're trying to match 2 parts together. Whether you're sewing or whether you're working on a piece of paper or metal or foam or plastic, whatever it is. You know, just having a way to understand, okay, this part and this part, they go back together. You know what I mean? So anyway, just wanted to share that. Okay, real quick note, this is one of those moments where it's like you have an idea and then you as you do it, you look at it and you're like, oh, I have a better idea. Because, like I said earlier, I was going to cut these triangle-y bits out and that was going to be a part, and then this entire thing was going to be a part. But then I looked at it and realized, like, this wouldn't sit flat if it was still attached to this guy because of the angle of this line right here. So it's like, oh, okay, wait, I need to cut that apart. So then we have this part and this part. Well, why don't I just split this triangle and put them back together to make, you know, this one big piece and then this one big piece, and I don't have these little fiddly bits. So now the center panel of the thigh is going to be, you know, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll fill this in with some extra schmutz, and then these 3 little detail nubbins are going to I'll probably put them on top rather than cutting this out and backfilling it. I'll probably drill holes and have these little pieces that are the right shapes that will stack on the outside and be welded from within. So that's the way we're going to do this. Oh yeah, and I still have plenty of, I say plenty, I still have some key stock left. So for these little guys, I'm going to cut little pieces that'll get welded on the outside here. So anyway, I just wanted to point out, like, you know, sometimes you have a plan and you're like, oh, I know the plan, it's going to be the plan, and everything about the plan is planned. And then you're like, but wait though, I have a new idea that can work more betterer. So don't be afraid to alter the mission, change the plan. As long as you get to the end goal, that's the thing, isn't it? previous clip, the table had a bunch of rust on it, and so we are in a better state now to actually work. All that crud sitting on the table, it doesn't make it impossible to get the ground to work on the welder, but it does make a little bit of a barrier, so I just like having a clean surface on the table. And right now today, our big welder is loaded on a trailer, which is actually in the wood shop right now, and I'm not going to bother unloading that, so I have to use a different welder today. Anyway, I digress. The thing I need to do first, I want to try and go ahead and get these little cutouts done on the I'm going to call it the knee ring. So on the metal pieces, I need to take this to the drill press, put a couple holes in it, and then cut all the way across so we get those long, I don't know, ovals, rectangles with the circle bits, whatever you want to call them. I want to get those details cut in because trying to do that after I've bent and welded this together, that would be really annoying. With me having done the pencil drawing here, I can then go and I use the punch to put my 4 little divots on here so I can run my 3/8 drill bit. Actually, I'm going to start with a smaller drill bit and then work up to the 3/8. And then since this is the punch made the holes that went all the way through the paper, I've got the holes on this side, which I can then use to line things up for the left leg. So I'm going to move on to the drill press and start drilling these out. Say that worked out fairly nicely. I've got both of the cutouts on the left knee ready. They are, you can see they're not perfect. There's still some schmutz on the straight line. But like I said, we're gonna use files. I'm gonna get in here and level this off. And I've also got these 2 different size round files that I can use to straighten out the curves on the end. One thing I did realize as I was cutting is that if I cut on the outside of the part, like I had to go slow because I didn't want to like overcut, but that still did inevitably happen where you can see there's these tiny little nick right there and right there on the straight line cut I was doing. So what I should have done, right? This is the outside of the left leg. So those nicks going to be on the outside. What I should have done is I should have flipped this guy over and cut from this side. So on the right leg, excuse me, when I do the right leg, instead of cutting on the outside of the part, I'm gonna cut from the inside of the part. So if there are any little flubs due to human error, then those errors will be on the inside where no one will ever see them. So that way the part looks pretty at the end. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and off camera get the right piece to match the left, and then I will get the files going and get these shapes more refined. That took a minute, but I got both left and right knee rings, ovals cut, or filed rather, and I'm pretty happy with them. These are still, the bottom one's not quite as long as the top one on both of them still, but honestly, it took me almost a half hour to get this far, so I think I'm happy enough with that. Now I'm gonna move on to the outer thigh box panel thing. I'm gonna start bending these and getting them into shape so I can start tacking something and actually get some welding done. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Getting these pieces curved worked fairly well with my makeshift anvil here. This is a cut-off block from something or other, but whatever. I saved it to use for this as an anvil, and it works pretty well. So I was able to get a bit of a subtle curve, though it tried to cup the part, so I had to straighten that back out, but that's fine. I was able to make it work. And So then the main center panel piece, and then this is going to be, what is it? Yeah, this piece is the part that goes behind it, closer to the back of the leg. The other one that goes on the front side of the leg, which is this guy right here. This one I'm going to put a little bit of a curve on as well, and do the same for the other leg, and then I should be able to start tacking these 4 parts together and, yeah, make more progress. Been a minute since the last time I was recording, so I've had a little bit of time to think about the next step of the thigh armor. I'm going to use the folds on the actual pattern to influence where I'm going to put a little bit of bend in this, because unlike with the forearms, this I'm okay with being a little bit more polygonal, more angular, because I think that fits the thigh armor a little better. I'll use the vise and hammer and whatever to get this bent into that appropriate shape, and then I'll get these two to marry together a little bit, so they'll be, both of them will help me by influencing each other. This and this are gonna help influence the curvature of the part overall, the part as a whole. A lot of talk just to say I'm gonna mark this guy up and start bending this piece next and then get tacking. I have my usual welder available to me today, so things should go a little smoother, and if I'm any kind of skilled or at least a little bit lucky, I might be able to get this guy at least mostly welded up today. The main outer shell put together, using these fold lines to get things more lined up and to get the shape of it defined the way I want it to, has worked quite well. I've only had one goober mistake where I blew through here on the front of the right leg, so I'll have to fix that, but otherwise so far this is looking pretty good. I'm liking the way this is fitting. Let's see, hip is here, so that should sit right about there. And the size and proportions of this is, well, you can see the whole thing. This thing's wrapping around the leg nicely. It's not too small, and I'm still in a position where if I need to expand it, I think I can, but this is fitting quite well, so I don't think I have any issues with it yet. I'm gonna take the this insert piece, and I'm just gonna tack it here at the these bottom corners, and I'm probably just gonna tack it all the way in like that, so it's, you know, flush in these 4 points, which will leave us with this on the outside. I'll just grab scrappy bits and make a piece that'll fit in here. I have the template, the original Pepakura template, so I may go ahead and use that. But I'm just gonna backfill this because I think having this dimensional where this is inset is gonna look cool. So we're gonna do that, and then we will move on to the knee ring after this. £112. That thing's heavy. So the initial idea of just taking this piece and just making it a ring isn't quite what I need to do, because what I found when I first tried it on is that it's doing this thing where it tapers in and it's like really tight right around the knee. So what I'm doing is I found that I'm trying to bring this up. Essentially what I need to do is I need to bring this material and try to flare it out. So what I'm trying to do is I'm using the anvil, but I'm angling this up so I can beat the metal in. And if we look on this side of the leg, you can see I've got a little bit of a flare out that's started. So I do believe this will work. It's a kind of a fun little learning experience trying to figure out how to force metal into the position that I want. It's giving me ideas for the future. Okay, I put a quick tack in here just to see what it was going to end up doing in the end. And while I did have it to where it was starting to fit better, putting the tack in there brings it smaller, so it's a little tighter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and leave this open down here the rest of the way. But I'm going to keep trying to form the sort of this part of the metal out and this part of the metal out. And I might actually tack this a little stronger in here. But I think I'm gonna leave this open as a gusset so I can sort of roll these edges and flare them outwards. Because I think that's gonna help me in the long run. Well, I'm not sure. I'm starting to doubt it now. So I'm not really sure that this trick is quite working how I need it to. But I do have an idea of some more hammering techniques, so that's good. But I think what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go ahead and cut this tack and try to reshape this to be good and nice and round again. And I'm just gonna leave the seam over here. I'm gonna leave this open, and what I'm gonna do is just when I get it sized up how I need it, then I'll just basically put a patch in there just so I make sure that it's going to fit me comfortably. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the tack, reshape the ring here, and also get the other ring in shape. And then I'll be putting in gussets in this spot as well as whatever filler I need for here. Oh my god, it's really fucking tight. Okay, that's better. Give me my damn foot back. I think I'm also going to call it a day today. I will come back tomorrow, which means nothing for you guys, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So we're getting there. for right now, I'm gonna be happy with this. So I still need to finish shaping the ring for the left leg, and I also want to add the flare here to the left leg. I'm gonna call these thigh plates done, so real quick, let's go ahead and wrap up the video. So for now, the thigh armor is completed. We've got left and right, of course, and honestly, the fact that I used more anvil and hammering techniques on these, that made this particular video a little bit more fun to make than I've had in a couple of the previous ones. That's not to say that I haven't been enjoying the process, but it was a nice change of pace actually using the hammer and the anvil. And as I said earlier in the video, it's given me ideas for future projects that I want to do. In the next part, we will be moving on to the shin and knee pad. I do have a few concerns of how this is going to work out, but we'll deal with that in the next part. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do here, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Cast Carbon, and I will see you in the next video.